Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in. If you're listening to this right now, you're probably looking forward to, not just hearing another story about what this business has done in someone else's life, but hopefully a glimpse of what it can do in yours. If you saw the picture for my call and you're tuning in, you may or may not have been intrigued by the portion of it that revolved around that bold, dark word, darkness. What I like to call that terrible, nasty, life-sucking thing called depression. It's a crummy thing, and for most, very, very hard to run away from, to control, or to even break free of. In fact, for years, it consumed me. Not only was I always crying and sad and upset, irritable, goodness, you name it, that was me. I was constantly focused on trying to hide the hurt, pain, and sadness, all while trying to function. I made bad decisions. I hurt, not just myself, but others. I was terrible with money, and I felt like I could never do anything right. I wasn't just not good enough, I wasn't good at all. And on top of it all, I was always so frustrated, trying to figure out what in the heck was wrong with me and how could I make myself better. But I just couldn't figure it out. I was helpless. I felt helpless. And sometimes found myself in a very, very, very dark place. So dark that I even considered and attempted on ending my life because of it all. I've had my fair share of meds, doctor's visits, counseling sessions, headaches, and even a visit to a psych ward a time or two. And you guys, I can talk about it easily now, but years ago, it was far from easy. So, how does all of this relate to our business? Well, a little over 4 years ago, my sister-in-law approached me with the business opportunity. Just like you guys are seeing probably on Facebook and personal reaching out and phone calls. And to be honest, I wanted nothing to do with it. I'd finally found a place where I could manage my emotions enough to where I felt that I could function normally. I was married, busy being a mom to our first child, and working full-time. I had just finished my master's degree in school counseling, which was probably one of the first things I'd ever actually fully accomplished besides college. And you guys, that felt so darn good. I was proud of myself. I honestly felt like I had my you-know-what together, as much as I could at least. Literally, though, I knew deep down inside I was just doing the bare minimum to get by, keeping my head above the water and putting a smile on my face while doing it. But inside, it was one thing after the other, and I was one life event away from completely losing it all again. Meanwhile, while keeping my head afloat, I kept seeing my sister-in-law's post. I was watching her have fun, she was making some sales, and I was super intrigued by all that happiness she was posting about. Not to mention, she was posting about extra income potential, and that was definitely something my family could benefit from. Long story short, we chatted over the phone. I decided to jump in. Why? Because I saw the opportunity to earn some extra money. And heck, maybe, just maybe, that would fix some of my problems. I definitely had no experience. I didn't feel like I had a long list of friends. By golly, I had cut those connections. And I didn't really have a sales drive or personality. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and really had no idea why I even said yes. But now, 4 years later, and looking back, I know exactly why I was pushed to say yes, and it wasn't for the money. Have you ever heard that saying that God always has bigger and better plans in store for us? And usually we don't really realize it at the moment, but he ends up making himself very clear in due time. Well, needless to say, the why behind the decision I made 4 years ago has been made very clear to me. My yes, although initially started with the need for $500, had nothing to do with money or what it could do for my family. It even had nothing to do with skincare, although I don't go a day without it now. It had everything to do with me finding myself again and getting out of that dark hole that almost swallowed me whole and helping others do the very same thing. Yes, absolutely, my business has provided my family more financial freedom than I could have ever imagined and ever had in my previous career as a school counselor. And yes, in the last 4 years, I've made what I would have made in over 15 years of working a 9 to 5. But the money aspect, that's not why I do what I do. Yes, this business has given me family options. It's given us freedom and flexibility. We're able to give and serve more than we ever have been before. But again, it's not why I do this business. Yes, I'm able to work where I want, and when it's best for me. Although I love all of that, that's all ended up being icing on the cake. Hands down, the most rewarding part of this business for me has been the personal development and the fact that I've been supported and pushed into becoming the very best version of me. But how could a little business like this change someone so drastically? How could one yes have that much impact on someone? Well, when you're constantly poured into, inspired, lifted up, motivated, and encouraged, you find characteristics deep down inside of you that you either never knew were there or you had long forgotten about. You realize that working on you, believing in you, and pouring into yourself and stepping out of your comfort zone is truly where the magic happens, and quite frankly, it's probably one of the best things that you can do. Not only do you become a better version of yourself through all of this, you're able to easily make a positive impact on everyone you come into contact with. Finding joy and being happy is amazing. But what's more fulfilling is that I get to wake up every day knowing that I have the potential to speak hope, joy, and love into someone else, possibly completely changing the trajectory of their life, just as I have experienced. You guys, life deserves our full attention today, not tomorrow, or next week, or next year. It's sometimes way too short, and I know that firsthand far too many times. If we don't do our best now to live life full out and truly design a life around our desires and wishes, what happens if today ends up being our last chance? God forbid something happens to me tomorrow. But you know what? I feel so much better leaving this life of mine happy, joyful, and full of faith, purpose, and passion. So I ask you this. What if it's a global skincare franchise that is the vehicle for you to make all of that happen? What if this is the answer to all your prayers? What if it opens doors and windows that you can't even see right now? My story may be inspiring for you, but guess what? I was once sitting exactly where you are right now. If this feels like it's totally out of your comfort zone, but you've been sitting back, you've been watching and reading and researching and waiting, I encourage you to just jump. If I continued to listen to my assumptions and the hesitations, doubts, and fears, I would have never said yes. And I can't honestly say that I'd still be here today if I hadn't. Let the unexpected be the unexpected. If you want to do this, then do it. Let this business do things in your life that it has done for thousands of others. All it takes to start making that happen is one yes. So just imagine, what if? I encourage you to reach out back to the consultant that shared this with you and make a decision, because you can make changes in your life just as I had with one small opportunity that can be the biggest blessing in your life. Thank you.